What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj. And right after the game last night between the Kings and the Blazers, you guys should know that I'm going to make a video about that. And I was going to make a reaction video to Demarcus Cousins scoring 55 points. But, I thought about it. And, last time I made one, it was Clay scoring, 60 points in 3 quarters. I thought that would do better than it did. I'm just going to talk about something. I think this is going to be actually a lot better just because it's going to get us somewhere. Me watching the highlights, I've already seen the highlights now. They're crazy. If you haven't seen them, go check them out because Demarcus absolutely goes ham in the fourth quarter, in the clutch. He's hitting threes in people's faces. He hit a fucking back-to-back 3-pointers in the last minute of the game or something like that. Something crazy. And then, the whole getting ejected thing. We're going to get to that. Right before I get into this, I just want to say, if you enjoy, please don't forget to leave a like, comment an idea down below. What kind of video do you want to see from me? Let me know in the comment section. Subscribe if you're new. And so we had to make this video. Demarcus Cousins, we all know what a talent he is, or at least we should know by now what he can do. He's easily the most, I guess I'd say, skilled center in the NBA. And I don't really think it's close. I mean, a guy like Demarcus Cousins, he's big, but he's got dribble moves. He's huge. He's 6'11", 270, but he can make moves up the court. He can really he's taking step back shots. I mean, he was taking step back threes last night. That's not something you see from centers. You've never seen from centers. But we all know about what Demarcus can do on the court. Now, we're going to talk about something that's been we've heard about this forever. Ever since he came into the league, the talent was there. The hard work he puts in is there. Everything is there. The guy's a phenomenal basketball player. But the one thing that we always talk about with Demarcus Cousins is his attitude, his, I guess you could say, composure, his anger. He puts so much into the game. I think it's just passion. I mean, the guy cares so much about winning, and it kind of gets to him a little bit more than it should. And, people excuse this. People blame him too much for it. I think you've seen anyone people have an opinion just anywhere on the spectrum. It could be from you can't blame Demarcus at all. It's just management. If I was playing in Sacramento, if I was a superstar in Sacramento, I would be frustrated too. I completely understand what he's doing, and I don't blame him at all. And there's people that are like, Demarcus is a baby. He's a head case. He's immature. He doesn't understand, how to be professional or something like that. And then there's people all in between that, and we all have our opinions. And this is, we hear a lot, especially last night. Demarcus Cousins goes for 55, and it's crazy. The guy is just showing us what he can do. He's showing us why Sacramento better get some talent around him or trade him now. I mean, I actually really want that. But Demarcus Cousins is putting the world on notice. What he's doing, how great he is, but he's also putting the world on notice about, his attitude and what he's like. And I don't think people are really taking this the way that he wants them to, from everything. I mean, he was bullying Myers Leonard last night. He was talking a lot of trash and the mouthpiece thing. If you don't know about the mouthpiece thing, Demarcus Cousins, spat out his mouthpiece at the Blazers bench, got ejected. He came back. This was so weird. I didn't even understand what happened at this point because he got thrown out of the game, but then the technical was rescinded or something like that. He was brought back into the game. It was after he got an and one, so he shot his free throw, played defense, blocked Damian Lillard, and they won. I mean, I don't know why this happened. To be honest, he was asked after the game, did you do that on purpose? Did you split the mouth guard on purpose? He's like, no, it wasn't on purpose. To me, it looked on purpose. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this guy. I know that he's a great person in the community. People, there are people all around that talk about how caring he is of his team. I don't think you really hear about him getting into disputes with his teammates, really. It's, mostly it's about, it has previously been about his coaches or the front office, and he hasn't liked that. And to be fair, I mean, they haven't gotten anywhere in the Western Conference in his 7 years in the league. I mean, they've been stuck in the lottery for all 7 years, and I would be frustrated too about that. Now, the question that, is in this video is Demarcus Cousins a bully? I saw this on First Take, and, my first instinct was to think about, I can't listen to anything anyone on First Take says because they don't know what they're talking about most of the time. I swear, guys, Stephen A. Smith doesn't know what he's talking about. I think he's really look, no, that's a conversation for another day about Stephen A. Smith. But, I saw them bring it up. They were talking about, Max Kellerman was bringing up how he thought that Demarcus Cousins is a bully. I was like, whatever. Like, I don't really care what these guys think. But then, you think more into it. I saw what Myers Leonard had to say. He said, I can't respect a guy like that. He's just, I don't know. Myers Leonard had a few things to say. People were thinking, maybe he's just salty about losing the game and getting 55 dropped on his head. Hey, maybe that's one thing. But to be completely honest, if you ask me, I think that it's very close. I'm not really blaming him for anything. First of all, I don't think you can really put a lot of blame on Demarcus Cousins. He's done so much for the city, for the organization, in terms of, making them. I mean, where would they be without him? I mean, they are the worst drafting team I've ever seen. They pass on so many great players for bums every single year. I swear, they can't pick in the draft to save their lives. And I would be fed up too, because I don't think Cousins had a say about them drafting Willie Cauley-Stein in 2015. Like, damn, I would be kind of mad if you drafted another center that can't do anything but play defense, and he can't play power forward because he can't shoot. I mean, what is the plan here? You passed on some really nice players. You passed on fucking Devin Booker and Miles Turner. If you're going to pick a center, just pick Miles. All right. I'm getting, too ahead of myself. But look, the point is Demarcus Cousins a bully? I would say yes. In fact, I would actually say yes, he is a bully, but not the kind of bully that you might be thinking. On the court, he's certainly a bully, and I'm talking about how he plays. Bully ball, that's all he does. He's like a Shaq type player that can stretch to the three-point line and snipe you. I mean, honestly, he babies people in the paint. He's incredibly strong, one of the strongest players, if not the strongest player in the NBA. Is he a bully off the floor? I mean, last night we saw him talk to the reporter after the game, and he was fed up. He said it was ridiculous. We've seen him, or not the reporter. What am I saying? The sideline reporter, or sideline person. He was talking to another reporter. He was yelling at a reporter. He got fined by the Kings for just yelling at this one reporter because he was writing stuff about his brother, his family, stuff like that. Look, to be completely honest, I think when Demarcus is not in a basketball mindset, when he's just chilling, when he's off the court, I don't think that there's a big problem with him. I mean, you don't really see a lot of stuff about Demarcus Cousins, going off on people or having these problems off the court most of the time. I mean, honestly, the thing with the reporter, it was one thing because you could kind of understand where he's coming from. Obviously, the way he handled it wasn't professional, and he admitted that in the statement that he released. But I just think that he's caught up in the game, and he really wants to win, and it's frustrating him that he can't do that. And maybe that in itself is a little bit of a problem, the fact that he's not containing himself the way he should be. But overall, I don't really think this is a problem. I don't really think this guy is a problem. I think the league is much better for having a guy like Demarcus Cousins in it. And I just think you got to get him in a new city and have him play for a new team so that he can show us what he's like on a winning team, so he can show us that he's not just a baby, that he's not just a head case, that when he gets to winning and when he gets in an atmosphere that he actually likes, that he can really dominate and do it while keeping a smile on his face and not lashing out at people, because I do think he's capable of that. I just think that after all these years in a losing environment, it's hurt him. I mean, yes, you look at his career, he's putting up 15 technical fouls per year, basically. He's been teed up 99 times in 7 seasons, and we're in the middle of his 7th season. He's been ejected 10 times. It's ridiculous. He's kept his cool better, though. I mean, He was ejected 7 times in the first 3 years. In the last 4 years, he's only been ejected 3 times. So, that you got to give him credit for that. But, I wouldn't go as far to say that he's a bully as a person, that he's a bad person. I just think that he needs a new environment. He needs to win some games. And I don't think that it'll be a problem. And you might be like, well, last night he was being a bully and they won. Well, look. Last night, I think there's a lot of emotions. He's a tough player. He's in the game. And when he's in the game, when he's playing, when he's doing his thing and he's getting bodied and fouled hard, he can get frustrated and really passionate about it. And he spits his mouth guard. Okay, that's not, I don't like to see that. That was one red flag that I saw. And then going off on the sideline reporter, yeah, it's a little bit questionable, but I don't really think it's as big of a deal as people are making it. I focus on Demarcus dropping 55 and getting a W and being insanely clutch at the end of that game. I think that's, what you got to take away from it. He's an emotional guy. He's entertaining. As long as he's not punching people. Look, I don't know what to say about this. I guess, yes, he's got to keep his cool a little better, but I wouldn't go as far to say he's a bully. Maybe, I could see how you think that, but, it's hard. I mean, you look at him on Team USA, he didn't look like a hostile guy at all, and, he was winning games. They were in the Olympics doing their thing, and so, if the Kings can be good, which is not going to happen, so why even bother? Okay, just trade the guy and then get him on a good team so we won't have to deal with this issue. That's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment idea down below, subscribe if you're new, and I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.